Hi everybody, and welcome to the third video in the Grief Transformation Week. I hope you've enjoyed videos 1 and 2 so far, and don't forget they build on top of each other. They're only about 10 minutes long, so it should be enough for you to go back and watch them from the beginning before you watch this one. Welcome and thank you for tuning in, and I really hope that if you are taking the time to watch these videos, that they are giving you some aha moments and they are helping you. The whole point of this week is that I really want to help you understand the impact of this work and how it can really transform your broken heart and your life so that you can move into a space of recovery, because recovery leads to a pain-free existence. Recovery leads to a place where you get to live your life from neutral. So everything that you experience from recovery onwards is from a neutral point of view and not from a place of the past, not from a place where you are still attached to the pain of the loss or losses, which they will be, that have led you to start seeking out some help. So it's usually because of the latest loss that's happened, whether that's a bereavement or a divorce or a financial change or a job change or something that has caused you, or health change, of course, something that has caused you to start reaching out. Now, I want you to remember from the other two videos that I spoke about this accumulation of loss, and that the way you're feeling now is not only because of the latest loss that you've just experienced or are experiencing. It is that on top of everything else that you've gone through. And it's a process of really taking you into a recovery from those events that have left you in pain. And lead you to live a life of isolation, loneliness, feelings of emptiness, or feelings of just desperation at trying to find some support and some help from somewhere, but finding that the help that you get kind of helps a little bit, but then you go back to the beginning, helps a little bit, and then takes you back to the beginning. So I don't want that for you, because all of those things were me. Which is why I now teach this program, because this changed my life. I have had huge amounts of loss, and have been lucky enough to not have those affect me anymore. And going through this process has helped me live my life from a present moment, from a very neutral place. And yes, I have sad days, but they're not, those are normal and natural. We're not meant to be always happy. But I am mostly neutral with occasional sad days, and that's okay, because we're not meant to be always okay. I have times where I feel sad, but I come out of those places very quickly. And I get to experience joy and happiness at just being alive on a daily basis. I get to experience those things with no drama every day of my life. And it's those things, those strategies and techniques that I want to help you with too. So video number 3, I said yesterday I was going to start talking over the myths of grief with you. And I've got on the board here, don't feel bad. So this is because this is the first thing that we usually hear when we manage to speak to someone we entrust with our feelings. We go up and we tell them what's happened, and the response that we tend to get, unfortunately, even though well-meaning, is don't feel bad, followed by a reason not to feel bad. So, or don't worry, or don't feel sad. So the response is usually one where we're told not to feel the way that we feel. And this causes big conflict between the head and the heart, because our heart is hurting and we are feeling bad, rightly so, because we've just gone through a loss, whatever that is, it makes no difference. And the response is then don't feel bad, followed by, in the case of bereavement, they're in a better place, they've had a good innings if they died long, they're not suffering anymore if they had a painful health issue. In the case of my dad, I was told at least he went quickly, as if not suffering it gave me some comfort, but it didn't help my grief. In the case of divorce, it might be don't feel bad, they were no good for you, don't feel bad, you can have another child in the case of miscarriage. don't feel bad, they were no good for you, you can do better, don't feel bad, you're still young, don't feel bad. In the case of a pet, you can go and get another one. And of course, with romantic, don't feel bad, you can find someone else. So you were just kind of learning not to feel bad and getting another one instead. So there are a myriad of things that you are told about not feeling bad when you do. And so this conflict that happens is not a good one. So you're feeling conflicted because people are telling you these intellectual ideas. So you're understanding, oh yes, they're right, I shouldn't feel bad because that is true. But your heart is saying, oh, but it hurts and I don't feel good and I do feel bad. So we start to learn that the intellectual responses from others are well-meaning, and we trust the people that are saying them. So we feel that we should be not feeling bad, but we do. So we make ourselves wrong. If I still feel bad when everyone's telling me not to, there must be something wrong with me. I just can't seem to pull myself together. And so this carries on. And so these things stop us getting the help we need, because every time we try and talk about how bad we feel, people are telling us not to. So in the end, we shut down and we kind of disengage, and we just don't say stuff. And we start replacing our loss with things, either more people, more pets, or substances, whether that's food, alcohol, drugs, gambling, some addiction of some sort. And of course, there's plenty to be addicted to today with social medias and computers and all the things that we have, Netflix binges. So don't feel bad is a myth of grief, because you do feel bad when something bad has happened to you, and that's okay. We don't want you to get stuck in that place. It's not okay to get stuck, but it's okay to feel bad. If you're not going to feel bad after a loss, when are you going to feel bad? So this leads me to the second thing on the board, which is who is responsible. So who is responsible for how you feel now about what happened to you some time ago in your past, whether that is recent or long ago? And I'm hoping that the answer that you'll be saying inside of yourself is you. You are responsible. So you are entirely responsible for how you feel now about what happened to you in the past. You weren't responsible for what happened to you in the past. You're not responsible for other people's actions, but you are responsible for how you feel now about what happened to you, either recently or long ago, because that is all you can change. You can't go back and undo what was done. You can't go back and not do that. You can't go back and have a different conversation. You can't go back and not be where you were. You can't go back and undo any of it. But you can change now. You can change how you feel now about what happened to you, because that's all you have the power to do. And so that is something that you must do, because that is in your control. So you are responsible for how you feel now, and reaching out and getting the help that you need is in your control. Taking certain strategies to catch yourself and try and keep yourself in the present moment is your responsibility. But the first stage of taking responsibility for how you feel now is in getting the help that you need to change how you feel, because you might be able to do this on your own with certain strategies and techniques, but I suggest to you that those strategies and techniques that you would have adopted are mostly intellectual or mental approach to what you're doing. And you need to work through the heart. You need to work through a heart-based approach to your heartbreak, otherwise, and then there's other approaches work afterwards. So taking responsibility for how you feel is paramount to your recovery. And so is taking the action, whether that is coming off alcohol, starting to address your drinking problem, starting to address your recreational drug problem, because we've learned to medicate how you feel since young, because we were given food as a child as a way of substituting our feelings. This happens a lot with don't feel bad. Here, have a cookie. Don't feel bad. Hey, let's go to the sweetie shop. Here, don't feel bad. Let's go and get a drink. Don't feel bad. Here, have this glass of wine. Don't feel bad. and it gets bigger. So don't feel bad. Here, try this, and it could be a recreational drug. So we learn very young to change how we feel with substance, and of course it works, but it works temporarily because it creates an actual physical change in the body, chemical change in the body. But what happens when you're not medicating daily with alcohol? When you're not having that glass of wine at night, you're not having that caffeine rush? What happens if you're not having the drugs? What happens if you're not doing any of those things? Is your heart in order? Are you at peace? And if not, then maybe you need to take some other strategies to help your recovery, to help yourself move beyond the pain of where you are now into a very different place, to kind of move beyond the pain of your past into the present moment and into your recovery. So tomorrow I'll be looking at Academy Award behaviours and Oscar-winning performances, and all of the things that you do to try and pretend that you don't feel bad when you do. But all of those things stop you getting the help that you need, because we start to believe the lies that you're telling yourself. So look out for tomorrow's video. That'll be day 4 of 5. And I hope that this video has been of help to you today. Thanks for taking the time to watch.